You still don't see it? It says you lied though, didn't it?
No. What?
I thought when you first went to your profile.
Oh yeah, it
You
is.
don't
Yeah,
say
it is.
lying.
There it is.
But how come it's not showing though?
I don't know.
You don't show it on our news feed anymore? Oh, now it's showing. That is weird.
Oh, so I guess I'll start my whole spill over again because we got this back working. Yeah, we're at 9 o'clock now. You all drastic change in schedules once again. My wife, she's a college student. She's a professor. She's a mother. A whole bunch of other things. And I started another job, so I get off a little bit late. Today is my Friday. Actually, I work Monday through Thursday. So yeah, 9 o'clock will be the day on Thursdays from now on. We back. We just had to figure out when we was gonna do it, how we was gonna do it, and try to get to the place where we stay super consistent. That's pretty much all I have.
We've been trying, man. Busy lives.
Life be doing 780s. So that's pretty much all I have to say to start that off.
What's our top of the hour?
Oh no, I just gave it to everybody. Okay. We got a new dog. Her name is Phoenix. Come here, Phoenix. Come here, girl.
She don't want to be around him.
Come here, Phoenix.
She be all up on me. She don't know who he is.
Yeah, that's because I got the big bear. This is Phoenix. We had her a couple weeks. Look at her. She's as bad as she want to be. This is part of our top of the hour. Nope, you better not lick me. You know better than that. But so that's our new buddy.
That to me right in the face, and he just vomited.
So
that's part of our top of the hour. The other is, like he said, I don't even know when I'm supposed to be teaching, what nights I'm teaching them classes, but I'm teaching classes at the college, the HBCU. Yay! Sociology courses for undergrads. So that's what I'm teaching. And it's going to be interesting. Well, anything else that we had to talk about?
I don't know.
Top of the hour? It seemed like there was something. I can't remember what it was.
Let's get this show rolling.
Something interesting, though. What am I missing? Oh, my gosh. It wasn't my Diddy. I don't know what it was. Never mind. Okay. Anyway, go ahead.
So, I wanted to say this. I had seen something come across my timeline that was very interesting to me. And, of course, as you mature mentally, well, as I have started to begin the maturing mentally, the maturation of being more mentally mature, let me say it that way. My perception and things changed, right? I seen someone, it was a lady, she made this long post basically explaining what a ride or die is for a man, right? And I'm gonna say man or a woman, but she said a man, and it was explaining a whole bunch of nothing, a whole bunch of nonsense. Let me say it that way. She said something to the extent of, when you're dealing with a man and he does certain things, don't leave him, help build him up, be his ride or die. He may have went through things in his past that caused him to act this way, so on and so forth. That's the path she had went down with that. I didn't respond on it because obviously when someone is talking like that and you have different viewpoints, it can become a whole different conversation. But I wanted to address something, and what if I would have responded, I would have said this. The definition of a ride or die, one, ride or die for your spouse. You heard what I said? Spouse, right? For your spouse. Keyword spouse or partner, preferably spouse, right? Not boyfriend, not girlfriend, not living boyfriend, living girlfriend, whatever, but your spouse. That's my definition of a ride or die now. Is if my wife, something happens to my wife, I hold her down, right, wrong, indifferent, whatever it is, health, whatever it is, finances, whatever it is, kids, whatever it is, in the streets, whatever it is, right? That's a ride or die, and to me, a true definition of a ride or die, because she's my spouse, and vice versa. Even for me, she should do the same thing because we're one, we're married. So when you give a definition of the ride or die that this individual was going down, that's basically saying to me like, oh, that's my boyfriend and he cheats on me, or he make a mistake and abuse me physically, or he sell drugs, or like I gotta hold him down. If he and she's this type of individual, she's I want to say, what was the appropriate word to say? She's from the ghetto. Forget it. She's kind of ghetto, and that's
hood mentality.
Who?
Hood mentality.
Yeah, hood mentality. Thank you. It's a hood mentality that people think that because you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend and they smack, physically abuse you, curse you out, cheat on you, sell drugs, go to jail, whatever, that you a ride or die if you stay with that person. And actually, in our culture, music as well, they promote that type of stuff, but that's not really a ride or die. That's called being. It's called being
not loving yourself.
Yeah, not loving yourself and being stupid. And just to be honest, because at the end of the day, how are you going to ride or die for somebody if they're not riding or die for you? And
I hate that phrase.
Yeah, I mean, but that's
I just like that phrase.
Yeah, okay, I understand why.
I just like ride or die.
But
so bad.
It's that mentality right here that gets people abused, get people trapped in relationships that they should have been walked away from, and just throw your whole life in some type of downward spiral. And that's just not the definition of that to me. So
it's not. So while you were doing that, I was looking up this because I'm like, that is such an unhealthy concept for us to even be pushing like that, right? And so I found this article that talks about the reasons why it's unhealthy. And so the first reason they give is because you're loyal to a person instead of certain standards or principles.
Yep.
That makes sense, right? The second one is it says it excuses them of any failures because you'll be there no matter what. Third is it teaches them to get comfortable and stop putting in effort. And then they said, instead of doing that, do this instead. You should be loyal not to a person, but to a level of standards, values, principles, and belief. Those are things that do not change, do not oscillate, or get compromised. When you are loyal to a certain high standards, automatically any people that fall short of those standards are out of the picture. When you're loyal to certain values, anyone who disrespects those values is out of the picture. When you have certain principles, anyone that breaks them is out of the picture. Do you see where this is going? Meanwhile, if you're loyal to a person, all of the above are open for interpretation, for compromise, for being ignored or overlooked for the sake of XYZ reason. And that's not something you ever want in a relationship, because it's easy to lose your head when you're floating in the high of fun dates or getting cozy in a new relationship or even in a marriage. It's easy to justify overlooking the above with one argument or another, and then another. And that is how you start lowering your standards. So, and I agree. I definitely agree. I think whether it's boyfriend, girlfriend relationship, fiance, husband or wife, there are certain principles and values that you have to stay loyal to. And if your spouse is the spouse for you, they won't even ask you to compromise those values and principles.
I agree.
Your spouse should want you to love yourself, right? Because when you love yourself, you can love them more appropriately. So all of that other stuff is indicative of you not loving yourself. If you're willing to just let whatever go, and I understand, like the Bible, people talk about divorce and how God hates divorce and everything, and divorce is not supposed to be in the realm of when people get married. However, I don't think that in any situation it's the intent, or God even intended, for a couple to be unhappy, for a person to be unhappy, for a person to feel like they're catering so much to their spouse that they can't even do what it is that God has for them to do. I don't think any of that is appropriate or any of that should come into play. Why do I hear music?
Oh, because my phone just decided they wanted to play on its own.
That's interesting. Interesting. So that's my take on ride. That's why I don't like when people say ride or die. There's no other way to miss. And the funny thing is, what I found out is that came from a biker slang, right? And it wasn't even talking about relationships. It was biker slang. They were saying they rather ride their bike. If they can't ride their bike, they rather die. It had nothing to do with relationships. And I don't know how we took that and made it about relationships and makes me think that some guy did this. But anyway, I feel like that's a guy thing. Only a guy will be like, let's start talking about ride or die because they would get away with anything. I'm just saying.
Okay, so then my question to you would be, what happens? Because you said, what did you say? You said, what happens if two people have that same type of mentality? And I think that it's not even a question; it's more of a statement. When two people have that same mentality of what a ride or die is, then that's really when things start going down, because then they bleed that to other people what they believe is, like a ride or die or whatever the case is. You know what I mean? So it then it becomes a cycle of, you see what she did for him or what he did for her, or like for instance, I use Remy Ma and Papoose. Remy shot somebody over $1,000 and she's a millionaire. And Papoose stayed married to her, allegedly stayed faithful for 6 years that she's in jail. And I get it, they're husband and wife, so that may be a little bit different. But at that point, she compromised her family over $1,000 to prove that she's not to be messed with in the streets.
Right.
Obviously, if the person that owed you $1,000 or stole $1,000,
is that why she shot him?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yes. Or whatever the case is, they needed that money more than you. So you compromised your family to prove a point to who? Her, the world, the streets? For what? So like, I don't even know at that point. I mean, I get it, they're husband and wife, so it may be a little bit different, but I probably would have left you.
That's probably why the relationship is toxic right now.
Probably.
Because the only people I've ever heard speaking ride or die stuff, they've always had toxic relationships. I can't think of anybody that would ever use that terminology that didn't have a toxic relationship.
That's why I said the same mentality, because it coming from where I come from, we use that term, and what that means is most of the situations, like you said, are toxic relationships.
Yeah.
The man then cheated, the woman then cheated, the man then physically or mentally abused the woman, and or whatever.
Or he out on the streets fighting, or he out on the streets selling drugs, and she ain't telling on him, and it's just all that type of stuff. Right.
So that's what that's normally what happens. It's toxic relationships.
Yeah.
So
definitely toxic.
But that's my take on that. What you got?
That's what I said. I agree with you. And then the other thing that's crazy, when they talk about how the partner gets comfortable and stop putting in forth effort, and I think that's really one of the critical, I don't know, the eye-opening parts of this, or how I understand how people can't connect the two things together when they talk about this ride or die. Because even if you want to believe in that, at some point you should realize that if you keep allowing stuff to happen, what incentive is it for anyone to do any better or change? Or do you just like being in that type of predicament?
You know what? Again, I just thought of another example of that, and it goes back to the whole, like you said, toxic relationship, and to the extent of what incentive do you give the person to change or want to be better. Mm-hmm. The woman that some years ago hit the largest lottery in North Carolina.
Oh yeah.
Her fiance or boyfriend or whatever they called it was in jail. She paid over the course of 2 years the upwards of $4 or $5 million in bond bonds because he kept getting in trouble. And people was talking about relationship goals. Oh, she his ride or die. No, she's kind of stupid. I'm sorry. Because, okay, if I get you out one time, because she got him out when she hit the lottery, he was in jail. She paid to get him out of jail, right? Paid his bond then. Then he goes and get in trouble again for selling marijuana. Why are you getting in trouble for selling marijuana and your girlfriend's spouse has won millions of dollars? Why? So it goes back to that toxic relationship thing. And he cost her $5 million. And then the lady is, I think it said that she's ended up broke now. So that's what ride or die get you.
She broke?
Yeah. And he's back in jail.
Oh my God.
So she was his ride or die.
That's crazy.
But yep.
That's crazy.
So it comes from toxic relationships, definitely.
Yes. I agree. Toxic relationship mentality.
I thought and again, it's how do you get out of that mentality though? Because them same people, how she get loose? Them same people will be the people that stop, doggy. Them same people will be the people that swear that ain't no good men or good women left out here. And get in a relationship with somebody that's good and don't know how to, because they're not cheating or treating them wrong, think something wrong with them. And
we have this debate all the time because we talk about people's mentality and why they can't change their mentality. And Jermaine likes to sometimes argue, if that's all they know, then, all the people on my blah, 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 their mentality is this mentality, but that's all they're surrounded by. And I understand that to a degree. I don't know at what point, though, we're supposed to say, okay, at some point, your brain should click in and the maturity should click in somewhere where you just think like, start with just a little bit. I want to be a little bit better than where I'm at today. And why does that not click in for some people?
That's a good question. The same reason, and my response will be the same thing I always say. Some drug dealers, some drug users, they you would think sooner or later they'll be like, yeah, I don't want to use drugs no more.
Well, no, but using drugs is an addiction, so I get that. I get the addiction part, but I don't get the not changing your mentality. As far as people who just are raised in certain environments or raised to think like toxic relationships are okay. At what point? What I'm saying is that at what point do they intentionally say, even if they don't know what it is that's wrong, something's wrong, this is not working out for me, I need to change. I don't know how to change, but I know that I need a change. I'm not even saying that they know how to go about that change, but at what point do they realize, like, okay, something's not right with this situation, and I need to change?
It sometimes it has to be something really, really drastic, like really, 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 really drastic, because that lifestyle sometimes becomes, and I'm speaking personally, that lifestyle in the streets and running the streets and hanging out and doing crazy stuff, it's like a drug. It's very much like a drug, and it's addictive because it's sort of like people that go to church every Sunday and praise God versus people that hang out on Saturday and don't want to get up and go to church that following morning because they're gonna think church is boring. They may think church, like the church life, is a boring life when some of them people still have fun. They just have fun in a different way. And if you go to that side, go from going to a club to going to church, you're not going to have the same type of fun. And that other fun is more of your drug of choice. So it does take a mind shift. And that's why I believe some people when they go to prison, and if they do get rehabilitated and they turn to God, that was a mind shift for them. And that was the change they need. So their fun will become a little bit different.
Because a lot of time our debate is about Jermaine. I keep saying like these people don't know any different. And again, my point is, okay, at what point do you just realize, hey, it's something? Because if you think about the way that he thinks about it, it's like, okay, these people are never going to change, because at some point you have to intentionally be like, okay, I need change. But sometimes when you talk about it, it's like they're not going to ever get to that point where they're like, okay, I need change.
Well, I just think that it's more people that don't change than do change. So, and that's a Jermaine Brown statistic. If I had to put a percentage on it, I'd say somewhere about 75 to 80% that people that won't change. Like, and then you have people like me that get stuck in the middle. Like, I wouldn't consider myself a street dude, but I had one foot in the street and one out. Like, I was, my whole life, I teetered, I ain't gonna say my whole life, but up until my late 20s, early 30s, I teetered the right way and the wrong way of doing things. It just so happened that, and we just talked about this the other day, just so happened that, you know, my wrong way of doing things, I didn't really get in trouble for. I got in trouble, but not, you know what I'm saying? I didn't get jail sentences and prison and all that type of stuff, shot and killed and all of that. So I was hanging around the wrong people and doing all the wrong things. And I don't know. With me, it was like, it was either or. I think if I would have actually went to jail, and had to do time, with the mentality that I had, I probably would have came out and went down the wrong path from there and kept spiraling down. Because it was like, oh, well, hell, jail wasn't that bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So it's like, I don't know. But, you know, again, on the flip side of that, I just told you this other day, me going to, prison, I'm saying, me going to jail and getting locked up a couple times, I realized, like, getting up at 3:30 in the morning to get a glass of water is pretty fun. It's pretty cool, actually. Like, you know, getting up to get out the bed and use the bathroom, and the only person that potentially is going to look at me is my wife. That's pretty good. Like, I can go in there if I had to, you know, take a number 2, close the door, and ain't got nothing to worry about. Not be sitting on the toilet looking directly at somebody. Right. So, like, yeah, that's I don't know. I think people can change from that, but I just think most people don't. Just like the individual that I'm telling you about that made that post. Mm-hmm. Sometimes she makes good posts, and I'm like, okay, all right, I see you might be trying to go in the right direction. Mm-hmm. And then a day later, be like, I don't know who you bees are, I'll bust you in your head and smack, you got me after, like all that type of stuff. Like,
sometimes I see grown people doing that. I mean, when I say grown, I mean grown. Like, I feel like I'm not grown yet, but I think I am. I'm grown.
What do you mean?
I'm grown. Never mind.
What do you mean?
Grown. But sometimes I see grown people that be like they be saying stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, but you're pushing like
80.
Right. Like, that's trying to be funny. So I'm like, how you on Facebook still cussing people out? What is going on here? It shocks me. Like, I'm just confused. Like, what? I don't know if I could right now. I don't know if I could get on Facebook and just cuss somebody out now at this stage of my life. I don't know if I can just get on there and just wild out. Well, like, I know I could in the past, but I don't think I can. Though. I don't think I'm not. I can't even type it now. I'm just gonna be like, that's too much typing.
Well, let me from the
yeah, point I'm grown. I know. See, I don't know when I got grown. I'm like, I was thinking today, like, dang, I'm grown. Like, I'm grown. Like, for real.
Well, I stopped growing in the 9th grade. I stopped growing in the 9th grade.
Like, I'm an adult.
Yeah. Well, I stopped growing in the 9th grade. I still got a petty side. I don't do it. I used to be a Facebook bully, and anything will come out of my mouth. I'll call you anything but the child of God. And I don't have the urge. And sometimes I'll be like, you know what? Especially if it's the same people that I know from when I used to do what I used to do on Facebook, act crazy. And I'll be going to look at it, y'all still doing this? And then I just want to get petty just because I know I can be and to test my petty skills, but I don't do it. I just want to test my petty
Sometimes he still be saying something. I'm like,
no.
Why would you say that on Facebook? But look, I got to the point now. I'm not even trying to be funny. I'll see something. I'll be like, oh, let me comment on that. Then I'm like, no, I'm too tired. Never mind. I'm not gonna comment. I don't feel like talking to respond to anybody if they respond back.
So look, I'll take one of them. I'll take one of them.
As y'all notice, my posts have gotten shorter and shorter. I don't even do happy birthday to my kids no more. I'll be like, happy birthday.
I'll just take one of them groans because I'll see a post and I'll do the same thing. I'll be like, yeah, I'm not about to say nothing.
I'm so tired. But
in my head, that's why I take one of them groans where I still use my little petty senses.
See, I can't even do it in my head. I sometimes look like, wow, you posted that. You 60. Okay. All right. Cool. You still out in the streets beating people up? Oh. Okay. Then I'll be like, let me get off Facebook. Click.
Well, I guess that's the thing too, right? It's old folks though. Think about it, because what young people on Facebook?
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
It's like we the 40 and up club on Facebook.
That is true.
So what do you write? What are we talking about? And we ain't talking about stepping in or going to parties listening to Luther or somebody. Like, what are we talking about here?
Exactly.
So
that's funny. But that brings me to, well, it's kind of reverse and shift or changes focus now. But I know the other thing that we were going to talk about. Remember, you were giving me the scenario of the guy who supposedly raped the girl, and he was in jail.
Oh yeah.
Or he went to jail, right? Is he out?
Yeah. No. He just went to jail. Yeah. He just had his trial.
Okay, so tell him. I gotta check the meat.
All right, Ben what's his name? McMillan.
Somebody. Brian.
Ben McMillan. He's a former NBA player, and Hush Phoenix. He just had a trial about a couple weeks ago, a month or so ago, and he testified for himself. And basically, they were having a party at a teammate's house and had girls over, and the girls got drunk, and the girl got so drunk that they had to put her on the couch. Hey, stop it. The girl got so drunk they had to put her on the couch and pick up off the floor and put her on the couch. And he was one of the people that picked her up off the floor and helped her get to the couch. And he said he fell asleep on the couch as well. And he said he was laying there, and she reached over and touched his manhood, and they engaged in sex. So the next morning he got up and she still was there, and he left. And then he got hit with the sexual assault suit charge, and ended up going to trial and ended up went to jail. So I was saying basically, like, I didn't even know that until I met my wife, that having sex when you're with a inebriated woman, you can get in trouble like that because they couldn't consent. And I was like, what if both of y'all are drunk? Then neither one of y'all really can consent. And she started right on time. She started breaking things down for me. So
did you talk about him waking up to her?
Yeah.
Reaching his fence. So this is my thing. So it's so much about this, because he was saying, like, I guess you were feeling bad for the guy and all this stuff.
I wasn't really feeling bad,
but this, what I was trying to explain to him is like, okay, so this is what happens when toxic masculinity, or when the socialized masculinity that we're teaching to young men go awry. And what I mean by that is this. At what point do men, if they're on the couch drunk, at what point are they supposed to say no when a woman who apparently they're not with, they wake up to them reaching in their pants? Why is it that men are taught that that's acceptable? Because it's not. And then that's the first thing. That's not even acceptable. If that had happened to a woman and she screamed bloody murder, everyone be like, yeah, that's what she should have did. Because why would he just think that it's okay to reach in her pants and start feeling on her? But yet, when it's a guy, for some reason, men are taught that that's okay. And if she does that, hey, go have sex with her. I'm just trying to figure out, first of all, why men are offended when women do that to them. Like, you should be offended.
Well, so I'll say this, right? This is the only part this is my
right, Martin, he wasn't smart at all.
This is my only argument about this, right? So and she tried to break it down to me about people bodies and how certain people take more alcohol and whatever the case may be. But to answer your question, it's like this. I still say if that was the case and he was just as inebriated as her, whatever her alcohol content was that got her to however drunk she was, where she couldn't consent and say and know what she was doing. If his alcohol consumption was to the point where he was so inebriated he couldn't consent or understand what he was doing, then at that point, I don't know I know lawfully, obviously, who's wrong, but I don't know, like, you're right. He can't say, I know if he can't consent. Because obviously they had sex. She wasn't sitting there screaming, talking about stop.
But to take alcohol out of it, how many men do you think that with him not being intoxicated, would he have still done the same thing?
Nope, I don't.
If he woke up to her reaching in his pants, you think that he would?
Oh yeah, he would. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Would he still have? That's the point I'm starting with.
She wasn't drunk, and then
that's the point I'm starting with.
And she would have did that. She'd have definitely screamed sexual assault.
So my thing is, why in the first place? Because this is a learned behavior, in my opinion. Why do men think that that's acceptable? Why don't men love themselves enough to say, hey, you don't have a right to touch me without me saying that you have a right to touch me?
I don't know. And that's a good question because, like, well, I can tell you why. I think it's a lot. I think it's like you said before, the way we've been socialized. I think, which is sad. You only can raise your children so much, and when they hit the streets or hit society and start seeing and other things, and then other people are raised in different ways, and then they start getting teased because, like, you think about it. If you find a man that's 21, 22 years old now and he's a virgin, he's probably been picked out his whole life about that, right? And that's part of how society starts helping raise us. Yeah, our parents may try to tell us the right thing and this, that, and the third, but then you get out here in school, public schools, and hanging out in clubs, and 21 years old, you ain't never had sex with somebody, and you out with your homeboys that's sleeping with everybody. Now they gonna be talking about, man, you must be gay or something, or something like that. And I don't know, you just got to be a little bit stronger mentally to overcome that. A lot of people fall into that.
And I think that it's a shame that men are taught that, right? Because surely
that's that patriarchy stuff, though. But it's definitely but part
that's what I'm
of
saying,
it.
like, because that has to be with the masculinity whole toxic part of that. Because, like, I don't know why men wouldn't be raised to respect their bodies just as much as women are taught to respect their bodies. But that's not, a lot of men don't even consider that important, like respecting their bodies.
But you think about, yeah, you're right. I agree with you. You think about it though, like it's like it's just society and how society raised us. I don't even blame it all the way on your parents. I blame it on society because as a man, I think of some of the things that I hear other men say and have heard other men say. Just like me and old dude, he said that, well, that's what us men do. We hunters. Like, so now we turning it into a whole manly, beastly thing. Like, oh, me man, let me go get woman. Like, what the, like, so, but that's in these people are older people that's saying that. So if they're in their late 40s, 50s, 60s, and they're still saying, oh, it's okay to look, or you looking at a woman in a sexual tone, like, it's just how society raised us. So when you say, why do we think that it's okay? It goes back to what I said about the ghetto thing. It's like sometimes people can overcome that mentality and sometimes they can't. It's a maturity thing.
Yeah, and that's the because this is a whole bunch of stuff I can say about that. Like even the whole, and I think it starts from men being told or somehow subconsciously taught, or however you want to look at it, that it's okay to have multiple sex partners and everything else. And okay, if that's your belief, that's your belief. But my thing is this: I don't know how anyone can claim that they respect their body or anything else, or they forget about respect, that they think highly of themselves, that they think they all that if they out there sleeping with everybody. That's like an oxymoron. That doesn't even go together. If you think you're all that, people should have to line up to try to talk to you, and then you're so selective that it's only going to be like 1% that even get in to talk to you, type of stuff. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, yeah,
I'm confused. How does that even go together? I'm all that. I'm gonna sleep with everybody.
That
doesn't make sense.
That's like having $1 million yacht club membership, or a yacht club that you got to be a member in. They're just not gonna let everybody in.
Exactly.
So no, I get what you're saying. I agree. And the thing about it is, again, somebody said this on a show I was listening to, because I got iHeartRadio now and I listen to talk shows. But somebody said this on a radio show. Basically, the things that we as men, is crazy how things have evolved. We as men, and we still do this. Everything we used to do was to impress a woman. Like we'll put on $1,000 outfit, $2,000 sunglasses, all of this stuff just to impress a woman. Now it's still to impress a woman, but now it's to impress other men and to outshine another man. It's really more about outshining other men than it is to impress the woman now, right? So I'm saying that to say it's like how society raises us and young men, and even that has shifted some, right? Because I heard this a while ago. Why would a man go wear a $2,000 outfit for a girl to go shop at Dollar General?
Right.
So it's like, I don't know. It's just the way society said, "Hey, look at us." So
it definitely is. It definitely is. But so that part I don't understand. The other part is that Jermaine was saying that, okay, well, he was intoxicated, she's intoxicated, who can consent? And I agree. When you have two people that are intoxicated, I can't really say that one can consent over the other. What I can argue, though, is that science has proven that you could have two people take the same amount of liquor and alcohol, and it impacts one person more than it impacts another person. So I get all that. I don't think that if two people are inebriated or intoxicated to the same level, that you can say either one of them can't consent. But what I was talking to him about was that, but you do have cases where men know that a woman is drinking, and they may be drinking too, but they know that woman has gotten more touchy-feely because she's been drinking, and they will still take advantage of that. And at that point, to me, you know what you're doing. You know that, hey, if she didn't have that last drink, she probably wouldn't be consenting to this right now, but you're still going to do it anyway. And those are the situations that are troubling and worrisome.
They are, and then my argument will be the same. You don't know how that ain't burning, is it?
No.
You don't know how. My argument is the same. Like, you don't know how many drinks that man has had, and he could have been at his level before she even got at her level. Again, if you're sitting there drinking with one another, then yes. And again, my wife, she said, well, a man can sit there and see a woman drinking and this, that, and the third. Then yeah, because that a lot of times I would think that men, when we go buy a woman a drink at the bar, we want to buy her another drink, and then buy her another drink, and then buy her another drink, in hopes that she gets touchy-feely and whatever can happen afterwards. So in those situations, it's definitely I can understand the argument of the sexual assault or her not being able to consent because of the alcohol. So yeah, I understand it from that standpoint. I just think that, though, I will say this: I just think that I don't know how many men actually understand that that's unlawful.
Yeah, they don't want to hear it either.
You say they don't
right
want
now.
to
They
what?
don't want to hear that.
Oh, yeah. Well, they definitely don't want to hear it.
Mm-mm.
And at that point, you become a simp and a Captain Saver and all of that when you try to explain to somebody that. And I was telling her, like, when I was younger, I'm kind of glad that my mindset was totally kind of opposite, because I probably would have got caught up in one of those situations. Because I was always like, if I can't have you when you sober, and only if I can only have you when you drunk, then I don't think that I want you at all, because I'm gonna need you to want me when you sober. But that was just from the ego and the masculinity.
But here's the thing, like you saying, most men don't know it's against the supposedly don't know that it's against the law, but many of them know that it's morally wrong.
Morally, yes.
Like they know that. Like they
actually I can't
know
say that, because some people don't have morals.
Well, okay.
They're the same men that'll be cheating on their wives.
Well, okay. Besides that, but what I'm saying is that they know that it's wrong. They may not know it's illegal, but they know that is something that it's not right. So that's what I'm trying to say.
I think
like
they
even
know.
the worst person would know, like, yeah, they drunk and I know I'm about to do this, but they know it's wrong.
Yeah.
That's
I don't think that they know it's wrong. I think they think it's like, oh yeah, this liquor that made this easier for me. I don't even think that they go to it's wrong.
Well, you have to. That's what you're thinking, and it makes it easier for you.
Not really, because it's a lot easier if I walk outside and find $100 million than for me to make it.
No, but I'm talking about intercourse with somebody. You know, if at any time you know that this person wouldn't have normally had sex with me had they not been drinking, or they probably wouldn't be having sex with me had she not been drinking. You know that is. I don't even know how to phrase it, but you know how they say the people who kill and then they do the test to see if they were insane and blah, blah, blah. And they say, well, if you was hiding it, you know it was insane because you hid it, that type of thing. I'm saying they know at some level, they know that it's not right to do. That is not appropriate. They know that, and they still do it anyway. Like they may not know it's against the law, but they know that there is something happening that is causing that person to engage in a behavior that they probably wouldn't be engaging in had they not been drunk. And if you know that much, then some part of you know that you're taking advantage of a situation. You at least know you're taking advantage of a situation. And anytime you're taking advantage of something, it's not right. Kind of like that.
Yeah, I told you this story once, right? So I want to give you an example. And this is the reason I argue that point. I was at the beach one year, Myrtle Beach Black Bike Week, right? And it was this girl. She was what America would call pretty hot, whatever you want to say, right? But she was drunk to the point where she was laying on the steps. And I was downstairs and I heard everybody, oh, she drunk. Oh, I thought she was up there dancing or twerking or something. I go up the stairs and she's like laying there she's regurgitating and she's laying beside it. And as I'm going up the stairs, dudes are literally lifting up her skirt and trying to feel on her and all of that, right? So that's why I say I don't think that they be thinking that it's wrong.
They do know that that's wrong. They know that they're taking advantage of a situation, Jermaine. They know. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not gonna say that men are that dumb. They know what they're doing. They know that had that person not been drunk, they probably wouldn't have been able to get away with it. That's why they're doing it now.
Yeah.
So they definitely know.
And the reason I say that though is because
they definitely know.
Because as bad as I was, I felt like I actually had to stop it, and I call a cop. I sat a helper sit up, and I called the cops and this, that, and the third, because I morally felt like, damn, y'all, why y'all doing that? You know what I mean? Like obviously the girl, like she's because you ask her name, she can't. She's like blah, 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 blah. Where you from? Like she literally, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, okay, come on, y'all. So at that point, that's why I say I don't be knowing if they know.
They do know. They don't care. I'll say they don't care, but they know.
Yeah, you're right.
They definitely know. They just don't care.
They don't care. That's better.
Like they know. And so my thing is like you have these men that are, whether you know it's illegal or not is beside the point. Because at what point do you say, yeah, they ain't really thinking straight right now, so why am I doing this? Like, at what point do you say that? At what point do you do that? And even in this case that Jermaine was talking about, like his argument was like they could have both been drinking the same mom, blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, but this guy admitted that they had to put this girl to bed because that's how intoxicated she was. I ain't hear him say anything about somebody had to put him to bed.
Well, he said he went to sleep right there.
I get that, but I'm just saying he was able to say, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to lay down. I went to sleep on the couch. I bet you any money she couldn't remember any of all that stuff.
Well, then, you know what? So here comes the next question. How does she remember that she got sexually assaulted then?
She maybe woke up and felt like somebody had sex with her. I mean, women can tell if somebody's had sex with them depending on what the person was doing.
How'd she know it was him?
Maybe she asked him.
He had left.
It don't matter. Somebody told her. I know someone who fell asleep. This happened to them. They were at a party. They were intoxicated. Somebody took advantage of them. Had a whole gig. They don't even know. Like, that's not. You don't do that to people.
Oh yeah, no.
You get what I'm saying? Like, that's what happens to some people, and you just don't do that. And I don't understand. Like, I feel sorry for this guy, but at the same time, like how intoxicated were you? Are you claiming that you didn't know what you're doing because you were able to kind of explain what was going on that night? So I can't see that you were that intoxicated. And
yeah, because you remember.
Yeah, because you're remembering all this stuff in details. So why are you doing that? And then the final question is, why, if he was that intoxicated, did he not feel obligated to go to the police and say, hey, this girl had sex with me and I was intoxicated?
Well, that's
another masculinity thing.
Yeah, that's the other part. I mean, because that ain't you're gonna get laughed at if you go to the police.
See, that's what I'm saying.
No. I'm talking about the police will actually laugh at you.
I don't know if the police would actually laugh.
I don't think they'll do the report.
I think they would.
I don't think they do.
I think they obligated.
Matter of fact, I think I've seen a story before when a guy had went in there and said that, and they laughed at him.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be different now.
Matter of fact, look what happened to Terry Crews when he came out and said
the police that laughed
it doesn't.
Well, that was the ignorant black folks that were laughing at him. For number one, let's get that right. Ignorant black. It was mostly black people that were laughing at him.
I don't know about that. I think everybody in Hollywood was doing that.
No, it was not. They were like supportive of him. It was black folks that were coming out saying, "Why he do that? He should have did this. He should have done like that." Just that's what I'm saying. All of that is so toxic and such a toxic way of thinking. No, if a guy has been touched unwantedly, he should report that. Yes, there's a way to report it. Everything don't have to resolve to fighting, punching. He took the appropriate means and route to report it. He did what he was supposed to do. So you
telling me I'm wrong if somebody touched me and I punch him in their face?
I'm not saying you're wrong, but a person's not wrong if they decide that they want to go report it and go that route as opposed to another route.
Oh no, well I agree with that.
But like people, you clowning him because he went and reported it. Yeah. Like that's a sickness. That's mentally a sickness where when guys are to the point where it's like, oh, if you feel sexually violated, just go with it. That's something wrong with that.
I think a lot of times, though, I ain't gonna say anything wrong with it. I agree with you on that, but I just think a lot of times, again, well, it's just like I've been saying, how society raises, like it's sort of the thing when we talk about how if an older woman, say a 25-year-old woman have sex with a 15, 16-year-old teenager, then the it's gonna seem like it's amongst his peers. He's gonna seem like he's the man because he had sex with an older woman. Mm-hmm. When the shoe is on the other foot, a 25-year-old man have sex with a 16-year-old 16-year-old girl, and he's a pervert, and so on and so forth. So to me, that's all. Again, I said it like 8 times. I say it again. It's all society. It is. I don't know why it's like that. I don't even know how you begin to change that. I
don't either. You have to.
So that's the issue. It's more of how do you change people's mindsets to look at it in a different manner? Because I've seen a couple stories recently where like an older woman has had sex with a younger guy,
Mm.
16, 17 years old, and she may be 30 or 23 or whatever it is. And, you know, like you said, people be in the comments talking about, well, yeah, he's a boy, he's a man, a young man,
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna blah 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 blah, right? So like, I don't know how you begin to change that, because even if when they're being prosecuted by the police and authorities, you still have society saying no, there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
So like, where do you start? Maybe those are the questions, and maybe that's part of the problem too. People are not asking the appropriate questions and trying to even begin to figure out how to correct that type of behavior.
Yeah, because it's so ingrained right now, and I think the most you can do is start in the house, and with your young men, and even the churches should probably take a stand with regards to that, because at the end of the day, the people that are being hurt the most are the men. They're being hurt because they're being put in crazy predicaments. They're staying in relationships that they shouldn't stay in. They're in abusive relationships. They're not getting any help. All of that is happening because of this mentality. I think about the video they were showing not that long ago, Justin Bieber. Remember he went to go get the award or whatever, and the lady grabbed his butt, and how uncomfortable he looked.
Yeah,
because he was like, what, like 15 or something like that, and she was an adult, and she grabbed his butt, and she thought that like,
and he even said something
like that he was uncomfortable. And I'm just sitting here like, okay, so this stuff is happening all the time, though, to an extreme level, and we still haven't done anything about it. So, like, again, you have to start in your house. I think it's crucial for that specific topic to be talked about and discussed more. Because we're talking about all these broken relationships as people get grown, and a lot of that stuff is starting from adolescence, to be honest.
And again, I still think it stems back all the way from, as you like to say, the male entitlement and the whole patriarchy thing, because that's a quick segue in these last few minutes, going into the basketball player that I told you flew the girl out, mm-hmm. and she didn't want to have sex with him, and he basically left her out wherever. And I get all the arguments about, you know, well, why would you go out there and you know that's what men want, and mm-hmm. You should never go nowhere without your own money, and yada yada yada. I get all of that, and I agree with all of that. But the issue that I have with that is when I made a comment on it, I said, I'm like, okay, fine. I agree with all y'all saying, you know, if you fly a girl out, you're going to want to have sex, this, that, and the third. I agree with, you know, all of that, right? But what I don't agree with is, if I'm sitting here telling y'all, if that wasn't or suggesting if that wasn't discussed prior to her coming out there, why is that an expectation from you as a man? Because so to me, that I don't care how much, if the trip was $20,000 or you take her somewhere and do a 2 for $20 at Applebee's. So just because you pay for something for
so why are you treating all women like prostitutes?
Yeah, that's like what you're doing. Pretty much like, so, and I think that says more about a man's mentality than anything, because at the end of the day, if you find a beautiful woman and you fly her somewhere, what you consider beautiful, you fly her somewhere, for me personally, I would think that, okay, I'm gonna fly out here to impress her. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, if I'm going to try to have that, come out here and just because I know I want to have sex, I'm gonna fly you out because, okay, I think you're pretty. I want to see what you're about. And I spend XYZ of money, and hopefully I get to know a little bit more about you. If that happens, then fine. If it don't, then hey, you want to go out next time? Like, it then went straight from me trying to, or a man trying to court a woman to, I didn't pay for this, get naked. Like, what the? Yeah. That's crazy to me.
That is crazy.
And again, I'm not saying anything about the woman. Yeah, she shouldn't have went out there with no money, and she should have known that the man probably was going to want to have sex. Mm-hmm. She should. I mean, you can look at him and tell he looked like Donkey Kong, so you probably didn't want to have sex with him anyway. So she probably was trying to get over, right? So I understand all of that, but I just don't understand how men think it's okay because you buy a woman something, take a woman somewhere, buy something expensive, that she's supposed to get naked for you.
I don't know.
And again, like I said, if that's what you wanted, then you should have been like, hey, I'll give you $4 million if you just blah, 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 blah. Just get it over with. Then you ain't got to worry about all that other stuff.
Well, that too.
So, but anyway.
But it's probably the same reason why men think that they're providers. Remember I told you how the girl was like, it was funny because I read a post on Facebook. Is a young woman that I follow, and she has decent posts sometimes, and she said that I think something to the I've never met a man that was a provider or something. And I'm like, huh? So then she started explaining it. She was like, I never met a man that was a provider because in relationships and marriages, if the man is financially providing for the bills, he's expecting the wife or the woman to do blah, 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 blah. And she was like, basically, that's a bartering system. He's not a provider. A provider is a person who doesn't expect anything in return. They're providing for you, and you don't have to provide for them anything to them. And I was like, that's interesting. And I wonder how many people think about it in that respect. So it makes it even funnier because when you think about the men that are like, I pay the bills in this house, blah, 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 blah. I'm a provider. I'll do this and that. It's kind of like, sir, no, you're not. Like what you're doing, you're paying for
a service.
That's what you're paying for a service is what you're doing.
Pretty much. But that's why I always said, that makes it even more relevant of what I always say. Like when I always say, like, I don't want my woman to have to cook and clean or this, that, and the third. Like, I don't want no damn maid like that, because that's all it is technically. Right. Like, if I gotta pay all the bills, then my woman need to cook, clean, blah, blah, blah. So nigga, hire a maid. Like, that's basically what you're saying.
Right.
So like, I don't know. But anywho, huh?
You can't say that.
I said that word.
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, he's sorry.
Yeah, I apologize.
We still working on him.
Pray for me.
Pray for him. Anyway, that is all for tonight. We will be back next Thursday at 9 o'clock. Hey, Danny, come here. Come say hi. Come say hi.
This boy's 63 years old.
Hi. This Danny is the future actor, y'all, and model.
All he do is smile. He called. Let me tell this quick story. He called to get his brother in trouble. Well, I don't say in trouble, but to tell on his brother yesterday. And he was like, "Mommy, he took the last soda, and I told him I wanted it, and da 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 da." And my wife said, "Well, Danny, just take one of ours, the zero free one, and you can have it." He's like, "Oh, okay." Like, what the heck? Like, I thought you was mad. Like, what? So be like, Danny, the house about to burn down. Oh, okay. Like, what's this? See, look at him. He's just laughing for no reason. His new name is Hot Cheetos, though, because he's going to turn into one. What's up, Hot Cheeto? See, you know his name. See?
All right. So we are gone. We'll see you next Thursday at the same time.
Same bat channel. Same bat time.
Are you even old enough to be saying that?
What do you mean, Batman?
Grasshopper. Are you old enough to be saying that?
You know what? She's so old. When they said, when Jesus said, "Let there be light," she the one that hit the switch. Click.
Bye.
That's pretty funny.